Powerful words. I remember one of the first bars I went to was Esta Noche right across the street. Had anyone been to Esta Noche while it was still open? So yeah, there you go. It was amazing. Very sad that it's gone. It was right across the street. That's actually where I celebrated my 21st birthday. I went to Esta Noche. I'm not going to tell you what year that was. All right, for our last piece, our last performance, and I also want to just want to say another welcome to everyone on the Zoom, everyone that's tuned in here online. So thank you for being with us this whole evening. We have 3 folks from the Faithful Fools. So I'm going to tell you, that's a tongue twister. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Faithful Fools first, and then what's going to happen. So the Faithful Fools have been in the Tenderloin district in San Francisco for 23 years. That is an achievement. Their communal and corporate purpose is to foster awareness and analysis of deteriorating social conditions in the United States and the world at large, seen from the level of the streets, and to facilitate meaningful individual and collective responses to social injustice. That's right. Please visit www.faithfulfools.org for more information. Our presenters, Carmen Barsotti, Sam Dennison, and Selena Lane will walk us through the experience of living in a typical SRO, single room occupancy room. Often these spaces share bathrooms and kitchens and have very small or no windows. These spaces tend to be in old buildings with old plumbing and electrical. They are the spaces that people living on the streets are often offered as permanent housing. We will imagine together what it is to furnish such a space as one's forever home. So without further ado, I have the team from Faithful Fools, and let's give them a warm Manny's / all in / shipping point welcome.
I gotta go through the front door here. All right, I'm coming in. Selena, would you like to come in too? Thank you. Carmen, come on in. I'm Sam Dennison. This is Selena Lane. This is Carmen Barsotti. We are from the Faithful Fools, and as Manny told you, we've been there for 23 years. Well, Carmen's been there for 23 years, some of us a little less long. I want to, for a moment, just have you think about your own home. And you may live in a small space or a large space, or you might not live in any space at all. But I want you to think about the things that are most important to you. If you were moving into your forever home, what would you take with you? Think about 2 or 3 things that mean the most to you, but also facilitate your life. What can you not live without? Cup of coffee. I now, as you start thinking about that, I want you to also think back to that time before the pandemic when things were a little calmer. And then the day came and you heard Mayor Breed stand up and say, everybody go home, stay home. And we did. And you started to walk around San Francisco and the streets were quiet, dead quiet, except when you went to our building in the Tenderloin and other streets in the Tenderloin, and we were cheek by jowl with people, chock-a-block full of people everywhere. The shelters closed because to live in congregate shelters was dangerous, was unhealthy. Jails released people. Hospitals, when they discharged people, there was nowhere for them to go. And in the city of San Francisco, and you're homeless, you go to the Tenderloin. So there we were. We would walk out our front door and there were people. People dragged all kinds of beds and couches and chairs to our neighborhood. We were there, but there was no water. Convenience stores were closed. There were no bathrooms. The library was closed. There was nowhere for people to go. Everything was closed. And then the city of San Francisco did something really remarkable. After about 6 weeks of us living in that condition, the city of San Francisco opened the shelter-in-place hotels. That was a miracle. Of the 8,000 people, probably by then 10,000 people living on the streets of San Francisco, 2,500 got a room in a hotel. something we had never done before. Yeah, absolutely. For decades, people said that was impossible, but we did it. It was an absolutely righteous, incredible moment. And we had people from all kinds of city departments coming through the streets, identifying the most vulnerable people, people over the age of 65, people who couldn't breathe well, and they were getting them into hotels. And it was a good thing. And then the money started to run out. And the city of San Francisco did another good thing. They said, we're going to make sure everyone who is in a shelter-in-place hotel gets permanent housing. Whew. And what did that permanent housing look like for most people? An SRO. I want you all to think about this stage here. It's about 6 feet by 12 feet. That's an SRO. I want you to think about those 2 or 3, 4 or 5 things that you need to live that are special to you. And I want to think about how we're going to furnish this room with the things that we need to live. So here's this room, and Selena's going to move into our room. Selena, welcome to your forever home. Yay.
The first sigh of relief in opening my liberated space is a place to sleep. Carmen, will you please help me embark on my bedding in my SRO? And I'm going to invite the entire audience to join us. And I'm sure you all have heard, home is where the heart is. And I mean, I'm a Costco hoarder. So automatically, this is already becoming more of a dilemma. I'm also a child of a mother who slept on the streets for 29 years. And we got her off the streets and on meds and into an SRO in 2014. The irony about that mom of mine is she thinks she's equivalent to me, so she should have a Cali King bed. So that also doesn't work in our SRO. But I'm going to ask you all, as you're opening up your hearts and your minds in this SRO, think of those 3 things Sam referenced that would be essential for you to live. A bed is essential for me. If you haven't caught on, I'm 6 feet tall. Basketball is essential to me. I have a 15-year-old that wears a size 13. That's essential. Yeah. What comes up? And this is interactive, so I'm gonna literally ask you to call out or even humor me by coming on stage. What comes up in your forever home, in your room? What's essential for you when you get into that space where you just need to be like Leilani, tripping over toys, or like Kurt, just loving the vista view out of the window? A microwave. Carmen, can we shape and put a microwave into our forever home here? And this is our front door. So this is as we enter. I want you all to help us envision it. I heard some other call outs. Refrigerator. I need a place for my ginger beer. Can we get a refrigerator in our SRO? A dresser. So we got our, I heard someone say shower. So we have our refrigerator, our bed, our microwave, and our shower. All good things. A lamp. Who said that? Can I have a lamp? Can you come up and like turn into a lamp for me, please? I got something for this one. I need a lamp for sure, because I like to read. This is our refrigerator. We got our microwave. Someone said table or desk. Carmen, can you get me? I'm gonna put my lamp just right here. Come on over. I like it in the back so that I could have the lighting behind me, so I have that glow. Anybody else, something in your forever home? Toiletries. I need my Bath and Body Works, Carmen. Can we get some of that out of this? Just a little space over here. We're filling it up. We're filling it up. Can I hear some more? In our family photos. I'm gonna have my lamp. I'm gonna hold my lamp here. And I have something to top over my bed. Photos are essential part of my identity. These are cherished memories. And I absolutely have to say, my grandmother passed away when I was 16, and that was the first time I became homeless. And I have a picture of her double in size, so it's more like a 30 by 20. But I can't wake up or go to bed at night without looking at her photo. Anything else in your forever home? Laptop. Woo! I'm telling you, laptop. We need a TV. You gotta have that Netflix streaming. Laptops on the bed. Okay. What else we got? We need a chair. I'm gonna have a friend over later. We're gonna be gossiping. We're gonna be talking about all them people on that end, Judah. What else we say? Oh, I heard someone say something essential. We have our clothes. Where are we gonna put our dresser? And our clothes is on the bed, under the bed, around the bed. We got a chair for my friend, and we're talking about our injured. So as you can see, our house is filling up here, but I heard someone yelled out something that's really essential and really crucial. So I've been working in shelter communities in the Tenderloin for like the last 5 years, and service animals are essential for the behavioral clinical piece and just maintaining any kind of calm, joy, love, companion. So if I had an animal in here, in addition to teddy bear, I'd need to make sure that there was some space that was dignified. Absolutely, feel free. Right, we're running out of light bulbs here, huh? So anything else we want in our essential forever home? Sunshine. Sunshine, we need a window. You might not be able to pull that one off here in the Tenderloin. So as you can see, our space is filling up, and I probably can't quite get out the door unless I want to get rid of some of these things that mean the most to me. I have to sacrifice some of this heart and this love that is absolutely paramount. And so, Carmen, we're going to talk about how some of our community members have voiced and told their stories to us with the fools and in the SROs.
So I'm Carmen, and we also have Kim here from Faithful Fools, and Kim lives in an SRO, and I help Kim in her room, and I help a number of people in their room. And it was one day I was inspired, just like, how is it I help us understand what it is to live? Because a lot of my work in the rooms with people is how to create space. Because as you can see here, and this is Kim's walker, and every time I try to get in Kim's door, it's like how to get through the walker. And when I helped another woman move into a space when I left, and I don't know if hers might have been this big, but I was closing the door one day, which was about in that space, and her bed was here. And she was sitting on the edge of her bed, and she said, "When you close the door, I sit here because I'm in a closet." And she sat there all of the time. But as I went back there weekly, what I began to notice is that her room smelled of urine, and discovered that because she'd had to share a bathroom, and she's a 60-year-old woman who was afraid to go down to the bathroom, because imagine that not only this space, but then you have somebody here on this side of your room, and there's another small room on this side, and there's one below, and there's one above, and it gets very chaotic. And so she was afraid to go to the bathroom, so she just began to use her wastebasket. And so as I'm having these experiences of working with people, I'm also going to the meetings of building the tech housing, and I'm listening to what's being provided. The spaces are small, but there were social spaces. There were gyms were being built there. The roof gardens were being built there. It was to make it a light well in the building. And I thought, why are we differentiating the value of what it is we need to live in spaces, what we need to live? And so even with the crowded sidewalks, there is no social space. And so that's the living room. That's where people can go out for some fresh air. Because as Kim is dealing with right now, if you don't, it's like Kim had a very narrow window in her room. And then a developer came in and put a building up that she has now lost all natural light. So there is a glass there, but there is no window for light. And to watch the consequences of that on the human spirit, together with the isolation that comes when one moves inside. Kim is a grandmother. Where do you have your grandchildren come to stay overnight with you in the space? And there's something that if it's transitional, and I think this was also the piece with the SIP hotels, as they got into the hotel, but in a hotel room, there's a bathroom. In the hotel room, they were being provided meals. And so then they're being told, you come out of there and you go into here, and you no longer have a bathroom, and you no longer get a meal, but you don't have any places to cook. And so it's a question we have to ask ourselves, is it's not only getting people inside, the all in, but it's into an actual home and not into a closet space. That if I want to feel alive, light is necessary, space is necessary. And I think what happens, Kim's actually, the picture we used for the article was, I walked into Kim's room one day and she had a board on her bed mixing her banana bread and then making the banana bread in a toaster oven in her kitchen. And Kim has that ability. Many don't, to be that, use that space creatively. So it's really something that I think we all have to ask ourselves and invest in and join in conversations of what kind of spaces are we offering, because to move from the SIP hotels into a space like this is what then people exit from these rooms back out into the streets because of the oppressiveness of the space. And just as a last thing I would say is where I got a little taste of it is our refrigerator at the Fool's Court broke down one day. And so here's our couch in our little library living room. And the refrigerator got pulled out here, and it was 2 weeks before they got the new one up the stairs. So every morning I was sitting in the couch with that solid wall right here. And it's a smaller area. And it was extremely oppressive is the word I can use. It was just like heavy, it was dark. And I thought, what is it that I know that's going to move and the light will return? But it was just a tiny feeling of what would it be to know that I can't move and extend the walls of this space. And the fact that when I'm sitting with people moving from the SIP hotels into the spaces is when they sign it. And I think it's the word permanent. This is now your permanent housing. And that's a difficult concept for people to grasp, that this is all that I will have as my permanent housing. And so I think we can do better. And as you look at your area rug, if you're in a space where there's an area rug, keep recognizing, because what isn't in here, you've got the cat, but where do you put the litter box? We don't have a closet in here. So where are the clothes? There's a lot and then we wonder why the clutter in spaces, and it becomes impossible to know how to organize. So thank you for joining in with us.